Hello. Hi. My name is Shane Brodie. I'm traveling around the country talking to fellow trans people. I'm a trans man. And non-binary people, gender non-conforming people, a bunch of people underneath the trans umbrella, you might say. And because it's a very wide and diverse community. And at the moment, I'm in Ohio, and it's quite cold out. I mean, I'm from Alaska and stuff, but I was not prepared. I don't have even socks on today, and it's pretty cold out. It was actually snowing last night, and I was on the highway going 70 miles an hour, and I was a little frightened because I haven't driven that fast in snow before. Anyway, yeah, but my dog loves it. He loves the cool weather. I love the fields around here with the stubble left over from harvest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very picturesque. It's like how people say that it's like a picture postcard, but it's real. It's right here in Ohio. Anyway, so in my project, we're talking about identity and sort of the regional flavor of a place. Some of the problems. There's obviously a lot of problems here in Ohio, like with the state legislature. We can get into that if you have knowledge of that. And yes, I know in the past week there's been even some stuff after the election here recently. Mm-hmm. And we talk about religion, politics, etc. So here's my guest, and she's going to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Miranda Douglas, and I live in Bowling Green, Ohio. And I'm your guest today.
Yes. So you mentioned while we were texting back and forth, which is the hardest part, actually, the scheduling part, where I'm juggling a bunch of schedules. That's actually the hardest part. And you were mentioning that you were maybe a little anxious, and then in person you have expressed some of that. And I was wondering why, from a personal perspective, but then also just generally why you would be nervous about being interviewed.
Well, I know that there's people out there that are interviewing that are trying to make trans people not look so good.
Right.
And that was my fear. So I looked to learn more about you. Yeah.
One of the lucky things about me actually is that you can sort of verify me because I do have a public presence. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you see some of that activism like online?
I looked at your Facebook, and I looked at your YouTube.
Yeah, great.
And great. I started to listen to the interviews, and I felt comfortable.
Okay. So what made you feel more comfortable when listening to the interviews?
Just knowing that it seemed like you didn't have any ulterior motives.
Yeah. Well, I do. I have a motive to show the diversity within our community and that we're joyous and resilient, even with a lot of challenges, right?
Right.
So that is my motive. I do have motives. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there who are looking to attack trans people.
Exactly.
And to fool them into thinking that they're a good person that is interviewing them, and it turns out to be a bad actor or something. Yeah. Who wants to use it for bad purposes.
That's what I was worried about. With, I've heard of people that are being tricked into doing interviews.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
So I was worried.
Yeah, and with good reason. It's good to check up on people. It's actually hindered my project ever so slightly, but I don't mind. I don't mind telling people about myself and whatnot. People can Google me as well. There's a lot of links out there about me. Yeah, so thank you so much for agreeing to it, even though you're nervous. And you were mentioning that you yourself are just more of a anxious person slightly. And I just so appreciate that you're stretching yourself to be able to do an interview, which is, I don't like to use the word brave, but I appreciate when people push at their edges and overcome challenges. I love that. So
I step out of my comfort zone a lot.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're quite an activist locally. I mean, what is the space that we're in currently?
where we're at right now, we're
Yeah.
in the First Presbyterian Church in Bowling Green, Ohio. Mm-hmm. And
Is that a welcoming / affirming church?
yes, it's a more light church. They call it a more light is their term that they use.
Okay.
And they welcomed us in and told us that
And by us, what do you mean?
our group,
And what
BGO
is-
Pride.
Okay.
is
BGO
our,
Pride.
Yeah, BGO Pride for Bowling Green, Ohio Pride, because
Great.
there is a Bowling Green, Kentucky. So we use BGO Pride. When they welcomed us in, they took responsibility for other churches for what the damage that's been done with the LGBTQ community.
Okay.
And they said, we're not going to make excuses for, what has happened. We're not going to act like it hasn't happened.
What specifically are you talking about? Are there specific incidents?
They didn't state anything specific. They just stated that they know that that there's been problems with the church and the LGBTQ
You're talking about
community.
the greater church.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the overall church. And
Christianity.
They said, yes, exactly.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they said that we want to offer you a place here in Bowling Green in our church, and you can have an office, and we'd like to welcome you and help you out in any way that we can.
Yeah. Was that, did that come out of the congregation? Did that come out of the denomination? Or was that church leaders leading that? Or
That was pretty much everyone
everybody?
here.
Okay.
Yes, everyone here has been so welcoming.
Okay.
It's been great.
Yeah. Great. So it was just kind of the moment to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Especially too, since there's a lot of oppression, state oppression, as well as religious oppression. I thought things were kind of getting better, but we seem to be cycling back and regressing a bit, it's kind of terrible, So I guess from day to day, what do you do with this organization? BGO Pride, right?
With BGO Pride, we reach out to the LGBTQ community in Bowling Green, Ohio, and Wood County area. We try to give the LGBTQ community a voice, and we do events, fundraisers, just different things.
Okay. What are the fundraisers for specifically?
To be able to raise money to do, like with our Pride. We did our first Pride this year.
Oh.
Yes, the first Pride in Bowling Green.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did great.
Good job, Bowling Green.
Yeah. And it went really well. We planned it.
How big is this area, by the way, this town?
I'm not certain.
Okay. It's pretty small though. Out here the landscape is kind of dotted with little towns. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bowling Green is more of a college town.
Okay.
So a lot of our population is college students.
Okay. So kind of a transient population a little bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the we work with I recently met with the college about the students that they have there.
Yeah.
Being able to come and join in with some of the activities we do here.
Right.
And
yeah, because sometimes there's a townie and a university split in some towns.
they have their own diversity department that they take care of their students
Right.
in.
But it's nice to have that crossover, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
University is just a part of the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
And they also have a lot of resources that
Yes.
people in town can use.
yes, definitely.
Right.
They do.
Right.
But I reached out to them and told them that we're going to be doing a holiday parade coming up. And
For Thanksgiving? Or Christmas?
It's just both.
Okay.
Like holiday. They just call it the Bowling Green Holiday Parade.
Sure.
And it's televised.
Oh, nice.
So that's really
That sounds
that's
so
really
old
great.
fashioned. Like people lining the streets and yay.
And we're going to be handing out candy to all the kids that are going to be watching.
Sure.
And so we invited the college students to join us with that.
Great. And is this like a gay straight alliance at college, or is that kind of, I'm thinking of the 90s or something?
Yeah, it's more It's more of just their diversity department that they have.
So that's what they call it, the diversity.
The diversity.
Okay. And is it mostly LGBT, or is that an expanded view of diversity, like racial and...
Yes,
okay.
it's everything.
Great.
Yes.
Great. Wonderful.
I liked, when I went there to visit for the first time recently, I really liked it. It's very nice. They have a lot set up for the students there. I wish that we were able to do as much as they're able to do.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they have a lot of resources. I mean, you have a humble setting in a church basement.
Yeah. But so. we've done quite a bit with what we have.
Yeah.
And next Sunday is Transgender Day of Remembrance, November 20th. And we invited them to also come to that.
Oh, great. So yeah. And you were flyering for that today, right?
Yes, I was hanging up flyers in the downtown businesses.
Mm-hmm. And what was the reception about that?
The businesses in downtown are really welcoming to us. And
great.
That's very surprising to me.
Yeah.
The whole city has been very welcoming. It is more of a conservative city.
Is that a change from the past? Or
yes.
Okay. So what was it like in the past?
I wasn't here in the past, but I've heard that it's been more conservative in the past. Mm-hmm. But when we came to them at their city council and introduced ourselves, they said that, that it's about time that Bowling Green had an LGBTQ.
It's about time. It's about
population come forward.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. And too, that's great because you just mentioned too that it's still conservative.
Yes.
It's still a conservative place, but they're not making room for bigotry. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, because that doesn't have to be an inherent part of conservatism. It really doesn't. Unfortunately, the way things are now, it often is, unfortunately, right?
Yeah. This past Monday, I had went to our city council meeting, and there was over 200 people there because they're trying to pass
active.
They're trying to pass an ordinance that is anti-discrimination.
Okay.
And I spoke for the LGBTQ community.
Wow. So in a conservative town, they are trying to pass an anti-discrimination policy for the town. Mm-hmm. That's great. Wow. Wonderful. Yeah.
So we were able to get it to pass.
Wow. Wow. That's great. Wow. That's so cool. I mean, that really gives me hope.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, because I'm thinking about the state level of things, right? The state legislature
is different.
Yeah, can you talk about that a bit? Because it must be kind of frightening. I would think
it is.
They're doing some wildly awful things here.
Yes, I've connected with people down in Columbus.
That's the capital. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. Columbus, Ohio, and they are more active down there because that's where a lot of the legislation is taken care of.
So the lobbying groups have to be there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so the members of BGO Pride and myself, we went down there and we protested against the House Bill 327, House Bill 454, and House Bill 616, which is the Don't Say Gay bill for Ohio.
What are each of those?
Okay,
I'm going to link to them, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. So we took a little break. I need to, take care of some business. And we were about to talk about the bills in the legislature. It's amazing to me. I just got to say, here's my little spiel about it. It's amazing how much effort and resources are going into taking away people's rights, right? So if we have public officials doing this, we're paying them to do this, right? What a waste of resources. What a waste. Yes. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about a few of them. Yeah.
We have these postcards that we mail out to people, and it's about the House Bill 327 and 454. And
it's really nice.
616.
This is a really professionally made card, by the way. Yeah.
The House Bill 327 prohibits the teaching, advocating, or promoting divisive concepts, is what it states.
Divisive concepts. Okay. What would that include?
That would be if any teachers were to teach something about gender or sexuality.
Okay. How about like slavery, the history of the U.S.,
When it comes to slavery, that's another one that would block.
Right.
So it's not right.
Yeah.
It's basically.
And who's going to decide what's divisive?
Exactly.
Right. I mean, is owning up to the horribleness of our past, or even some of the stuff that's happening in the present, is that divisive, or does that actually promote, a better society?
Promotes the truth.
Yeah, it promotes the truth.
When you forget the past, you tend to repeat it.
That's right.
That's why we have to teach these things.
Right. Yeah, well, it's history, folks. It's history.
House Bill 454 is being made to block gender affirming care for the youth.
Okay, so healthcare.
Healthcare, yeah, exactly.
Right.
No doctor would be able to provide any kind of gender affirming care to any youths.
And that would, I'm assuming, also include therapy.
Exactly.
Which is a very important part of gender affirming care.
Yes, they would end up being in a lot of trouble, possibly going to jail. Any therapists, any teachers that would not.
How is the state able to do that, since professional organizations like licensing organizations, like the research that they've done, usually, I mean, what I've heard, supports trans people,
It does.
Social workers, therapists, psychotherapists, etc., MDs, endocrinologists, all of those professional organizations support trans people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the politicians don't want to hear it.
Right.
They have their own agenda.
Yeah. And also, too, not only it seems like it is the state getting in the between children, children and their parents, right? So I know that conservatives have some issues with that. It's just surprising to me that they would allow that in other situations, right? Yeah. So how effective are these still being discussed in the legislature?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so these are active bills that are being discussed.
We actually, there's a whole group of us that protest these House bills, and we constantly are having to do that.
Right. They keep introducing more of them, so you all have to keep going down to the state offices and protesting. That's a lot of effort. I mean, that takes away from your jobs and your families, and wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. The most recent one was House Bill 616, which is the equivalent to Ohio's Don't Say Gay bill.
Oh, okay. And does that target teachers?
Yes.
Okay. And when I say target, I really do mean target.
Yes, it does.
Right. And this is about free speech, too. Not only is it about, basically erasing trans people and erasing the experience of teachers, as well as students, as well as parents who might be involved, who are part of the LGBT community, which we are everywhere. So, I mean, not only does it do that, but it also hinders free speech, right? And who are the people who are, talking about free speech a lot? It's conservatives, right? They talk about free speech all the time, but you don't want to allow other people to have free speech. Only for them, right?
Right.
Yeah. Only for me, not for you. That's hypocritical.
Tomorrow, there's a resolution that they're trying to pass through the Board of Education, the Ohio Board of Education, which is It's called the Resolution to Support Parents, Schools, and Districts in Rejecting Harmful, Coercive, Burdensome Gender Identity Policies.
Burdensome.
I know, right?
That's hilarious.
But what it does is it calls on schools to reject Title IX language that would protect LGBTQ students from discrimination.
Right, and also kind of underpinning that as well is just eroding Title IX.
Exactly.
And that's protection for a lot of different kinds of people, you know? Yeah. Wow, they're so aggressive. So how is besides the periodic protesting that you have to do, I mean, obviously, you know, good on you for doing that. How is the community itself dealing with it? Because I would imagine, for me, if I lived here or in another state that was so aggressive with these policies, I might feel a little bit like terrorized.
It's very stressful.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the people that are in Columbus, Ohio, that are protesting, they are having to face off against people that are anti-protesters.
Right.
And they're very vulgar with them.
Yes.
They are very violent towards them. And that's just something that it really messes with the way that they feel.
Yeah, I can imagine that there's probably some doxing and that sort of thing. Yeah, photographs. I mean, that's how they intimidate people is by trying to find personal information about people who are protesting or take photographs and stuff like that. It's pretty awful. It really is a form of terrorism. I mean, do we really live in a free society if residents of a place are afraid and are having their rights taken from them? That's not a free society.
Right.
You know, it really isn't. It's laughable to say that. And it's our own government, the people who are supposed to be representing us, representing everybody, that's doing it. How awful. How awful.
Exactly.
Yeah. So does this come up like, do people kind of feel a panic, or does it kind of bring people closer together, or both maybe?
Both,
yeah.
Because we don't really know what to expect. They they're very aggressive about it.
Yeah.
And they'll have one hearing after another.
Yeah.
And it's very wearing on the people that are protesting.
Yeah, of course it would be.
They just want what's best for their kids and to be able to have the rights that everyone else has. That's
right. Yeah, and you know, it really muddies things up for a lot of people. I mean, to restrict what a teacher can say, you know, giving out fairly, I mean, this is neutral information, you know, about history, about that people exist in their communities, because we exist in these communities. And you and I were little munchkins in grade school at some point. And I don't know about you, but I would have appreciated seeing, you know, some representation out in the world that it was okay to be someone like me. It would have certainly saved me a lot of strife in my life. And why are we doing that to kids? I mean, aren't we supposed to like open up the world to them?
They're vulnerable.
Yeah.
They're vulnerable and they're easy attacked.
Targets. Yep. Yes, I get it. Yeah. But it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work because even with a lot of oppression, right? A lot of people I've talked to in this project have been oppressed, like directly through violence and different things.
Right.
We still express ourselves. It might take a while, but we still do it, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah. So we were getting into talking about how people kind of get together and, you know, celebrate each other and support each other and that sort of thing. And there's been this tradition going on for a number of years. I'm not sure when it started, the deep history of it, but the Transgender Day of Remembrance. We talked about that a little bit earlier. You were flyering for them earlier today. And so I was wondering if you could go into detail about what that's about and what you guys do here and, what it does, basically. Yeah.
The Transgender Day of Remembrance is held on November 20th. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we're having a candlelight vigil, and the church is actually participating.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. So it's not just trans people. It's people in this church.
Right.
It's cisgendered and trans people and queer people. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And what this is about is honoring the memory and lives of transgender people that were killed in anti-transgender violence,
right,
or self-harm, people that committed suicide
right.
based on feeling that they were targeted and hated.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're doing that from 6 to 9 p.m. on November 20th.
And are you one of the organizers of that?
Yes.
Yes. What does that take to organize something like that?
Well, I had to go to the city and fill out an application to get the property that we're going to be using.
Oh, so it's not just going to be in church grounds. It's going to be out in the public.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be in a public park.
Oh, okay.
And we're setting up where we hand out candles to people. They're going to be electric candles. And
yeah, I've seen those. They flicker a little bit. Yeah, they're cute.
And then trans flags. We put all that together last night. The people will show up about 6 o'clock, and around 7 o'clock we'll start speaking, and we'll go through the list of names.
And by speaking, you mean?
By talking about what Transgender Day of Remembrance means to us, how it brings all of us together, what it stands for.
Okay.
And then we start reading the names of the individuals that were killed.
Yeah. So it really is a vigil. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Currently at this time, there's 69 names of individuals killed in the U.S. alone.
Yeah. So what is that like? Is it like I'm imagining very emotional. How do you take care of people around that?
Well, for myself, when I first started reading the names, I broke down into tears, reading the descriptions of how they were found, and what happened with them. It was very heartbreaking. Taking care of the people. I'm actually going to have a list of phone numbers, crisis numbers, that I'm handing out when they come to the vigil. And if they need any counseling or just people to talk with, we will be there for them.
Yeah. And, even though these deaths are obviously, extremely tragic, it's so nice, too, that, the greater family of trans people, if we can think of it as a family, is memorializing their lives, even though they had, a violent ending or a tragic ending, because it's just really important. I feel like so many people have died in silence, or they've been misgendered in their deaths. Sometimes families will take it upon themselves to sort of detransition somebody after death. So if they were a trans woman, they will refer to them as male and that sort of thing. And it's pretty awful. So at least there is a community behind them that is memorializing them in an appropriate way. Yes. Yeah. So it's really beautiful, and it happens all over the country, which is really nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of services and, that sort of thing, local support networks and stuff. I noticed some flyers over there, and I brought them over, and I was wondering if you could talk about them, because there's kind of a lot for a small community here. Yeah,
Yes,
it's pretty cool.
Yes, we actually have we have a place called the Cocoon.
Okay, yeah.
And they're for survivors of domestic and sexual violence.
Yeah, I love that name, by the way.
Yes.
That's pretty good. Whoever
And
came up with that, that's good.
They are located in Bowling Green. They are affirming. They do not discriminate against what your gender identity is.
Mm-hmm.
They allow everyone there.
Yeah. So if you're in a queer relationship,
Mm-hmm.
then you can, if you feel like you've been a victim of violence, you can go to the shelter.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes. And I love the photo. It's of two women. I'm assuming that they're women. They're female presenting people. Mm-hmm. And that's so great. That's the first time I actually have seen something like that. I've heard of organizations doing this before, but I've never seen like a professional flyer just, out somewhere talking about the services and just being so forthright with who they serve. That's great.
The person that runs this, I've contacted
Mm-hmm.
because there's a project that I have going on for trying to create a rainbow house in Bowling Green.
What do you mean by that?
A rainbow house would be a shelter for homeless LGBTQ people.
Great.
Because we have shelters in some of the bigger cities that surround us.
Yeah.
But they do not allow LGBTQ people.
You're talking about like Toledo. And are these religiously based shelters?
Yes, they are.
Oh, what a shame. Like Salvation Army kind of
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
But people have been turned away because they won't
Yes. Yeah.
identify, they won't turn against being LGBTQ, so they get turned away.
Oh, wow. That's terrible that somebody's religion would then make them turn away somebody who needs help. I mean, what is your mission if you're doing that?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a pretty thin mission.
For being homeless myself for a time.
Which
I've
is
made
pretty
this-
common
Yes.
in the queer community, but also especially with trans people.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
I've made this a mission of my own personal mission to push forward with this.
Great.
This is important.
Yeah.
Another thing
That's going to be a lot of work.
Yes, it is. It is, but it can be done.
Where are you going to get your funding? Where are you going to try?
We're hoping that we will be able to get sponsors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that,
individuals.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we'll be able to reach out to the LGBTQ community and our supporters.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck with that. I mean, that is a lot of work. That's a big project.
And there's another group that I just created.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this catches on in other states and other cities. Is I've created what I'm calling.
You are a quiet radical.
I am.
I can tell.
I created trans network of safety and advocacy, and we're going to go around to all the local businesses and interview the owners or the management and find out where the safe businesses are, where who is friendly, trans friendly.
That is some direct action right there. Because you can. I mean, it's a gentle push, but it puts people on their best behavior.
Yes.
Yeah, and makes people accountable as well.
Yes, and we're going to make a list of who the different places are.
Yeah, and that can also include professionals that work out of their homes or in a private office, like CPAs or, therapists or whomever. Yeah, totally.
And then we're also going to discuss legislation as far as what we need to do as a group of trans people to be able to fight against the anti-transgender legislation that's going on.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking about public accommodation, basically. Yeah. Is there anything in the legislature that they're trying to push that is against public accommodation that would erode that?
Just local stuff.
Okay, just local stuff.
Yeah. As far as what we just had passed in Bowling Green with the anti-discrimination bill.
Yeah.
We want to make sure everyone's holding true to it.
Right.
And
Right.
that they're following, that
Right.
they follow the law.
Yeah. You can even have like an organizational sticker or something that people
That's
could put,
what we were going to do.
Yeah, they could put in their window and
Yep.
as a little prize, this is a welcoming whatever.
Yep. I was looking
Yep.
at those this morning online.
Because a lot of people who, are not bigoted really want to give their money to those places that that are supportive and that sort of thing, right? Besides, the LGBT community, there's also cis and heterosexual people who feel that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one more thing that I want to do with this group is create like a safety network where if somebody's feeling that they might be self-harming, that we check in on them.
Okay.
And
So
make sure that they're safe.
Peer-to-peer support.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
That's really important because we all need that. We all need to know that we care, that we're a family.
Yeah. Wow. You're doing so much here. Did you grow up here, by the way?
I grew up in Toledo area.
So regionally,
yes,
you're from here. Uh-huh.
Yes. So
okay. So you kind of have some deep roots in this area of the country, in Northwest Ohio. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you really want to improve things and really give back.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's important.
And cause some trouble, too.
Well, that's a side effect of all.
Yes. Good kind of trouble.
Yeah, good trouble.
Yeah,
Yep.
chaotic good.
Yes, exactly. So there's another group that we have that we're looking at this. This is Spectrum of Findlay.
Yeah.
And they're another LGBTQ group, and they've been around a lot longer than us. And I use a lot of what they do.
Where's Findlay? Is that a little...
Findlay is south of here,
Okay.
Findlay, Ohio.
Okay, just a little town south of here?
Yeah, they're actually a little bigger than Bowling Green.
Okay.
But they just celebrated their 20th Pride.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they are very successful with what they do. Spectrum is a great group, and they were my first group to join.
How is it that two towns that are fairly adjacent, how is it that one had a Pride for 20 years and then, I don't mean to complain about this community, but you guys just had your first one. What happened there?
I just moved here, so
you're the instigator.
I'm just starting it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, sometimes it just takes somebody just to, light the fire, and then it gets going. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the right person here. Awesome. Wow. So good on Findlay though for having a Pride for so long. That's a long time.
They do so much for their community,
Yeah.
for their LGBTQ community. I just love Spectrum. They're amazing. And I go to their support groups because things that they do, they're always so successful. And I look and I say, do you mind if I use that idea?
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And things that they can't do, they're like, if you want to do this, that's fine, and we'll send people to you.
Yeah. What specifically are you talking about here?
Well,
If you can give specifics.
like we do game night or media groups, things that are for the community to
Sure.
get together, social groups.
Sure, bingo or something.
Yeah, stuff like that. And if they're not able to do that, if they're not able to get enough people together for that, then they send their people to us, and we just share back and forth. We're really not that far from each other.
Yeah, that's great. It's like, we don't have enough people at the party, so come on over or something. Yeah, that's cool. So do you also have like kind of, like you were saying, more casual gatherings like that where you just, have a day at the park or picnic or something like that?
Yes, we do a lot more of that. With Findlay, they are able to have the funding that we don't. They've been around a lot longer.
Yes. Yeah.
And they just did a masquerade ball at one of the hotels there, and I was just one of these days we're going to have our own. But we can't do that yet. We don't have the funding for that.
Here in small town,
Ohio. Yes.
I almost said Idaho, and then I almost said Iowa.
Earlier, you almost said Hawaii.
Ohio. Did I?
I think so.
I don't think so. But maybe I did.
But that's okay.
There's actually a joke, a shirt. There's a store in Iowa that has a shirt that says, "I'm from Idaho, Iowa, Ohio, where we grow rubber tires and whatever." Basically it's just making fun of the fact that people mix up these states. Yeah. Anyway, I think I should buy one at some point.
When you come back through here, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's in Iowa. I don't know if I'm be able to go to Iowa soon, but yeah, I'm having to wind down my project. But as I'm winding it down, I'm finding more and more people who want to be interviewed. It's pretty awesome. I'm going to have to actually put off some of them and then come back in the springtime and interview people. So what else can we talk about? Any other cool things happening in this town in terms of justice or rights or LGBT people or
we have
whomever?
We have a group called BG Persists.
BG Persists. Okay.
I'm kind of part of that group as well.
How many hours a day do you work?
I know. I work third shift, so
okay.
I don't get much sleep.
Okay.
But BG Persists.
Don't burn out.
If I do,
the community needs you. Don't burn out.
I'm sticking around.
Okay.
The BG Persists. What they do is they are fighting against the Roe versus Wade.
The overturn.
The overturn, right?
Yeah.
They were also at the city council meeting on Monday because of when someone's had an abortion that they might be discriminated against getting work at certain places.
Yes.
So they are they were there for that.
Yeah. Because word gets around in a small town. Mm-hmm. As much as people love privacy, it's very hard to have in a smaller town. Yeah.
So I support them.
Yeah.
Fully.
What's the name again?
BG Persists.
Okay.
For Bowling Green Persists.
Yes.
And they're a really great group.
Okay.
I just love them.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Try to
what
help
is
them.
that? What is happening at the state level with that? Because now rights, which should be just inherent, we should just all have rights to medical care, but these rights are being decided by a small group of people in a legislature now.
Yes, I believe in women's rights and the right to choose, and that nobody should be making laws on what women's bodies. They should not have any say about that at all.
Yeah.
That is not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair to women, and I don't think it's fair to anybody. It erodes the concept of bodily autonomy and medical privacy. Those are very important things for everybody. Literally,
it comes down on LGBTQ community still.
Yeah,
it's like they're starting with all the minorities.
Right, and then just moving on and taking more people's rights. Yeah, so everybody out there should be concerned about this. Even straight, white, cis male guys out there. Your rights are being eroded too, because medical privacy and bodily autonomy that's everybody's concern. That's really everybody's concern. Yeah. Oh, so awful. Just as a pivot, we've been talking quite a bit. I mean, you're a pretty amazing activist. I mean, not even pretty amazing, like fucking amazing. You're a fucking amazing activist. Taking on a lot. You're taking on a lot, and I hope that you're taking care of yourself as well in this. That's something that activists do. They'll burn the candle at both ends and kind of get burnt out, So I hope you're taking good care of yourself. I was wondering if we could pivot and talk about your personal life a bit more. What's going on with you? Yeah.
Well, as far as my life right now, I've been married for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
I have a 13-year-old son that we adopted at birth. I've been working at the same job. I work at UPS.
Oh, great.
And I've been there for 26 years.
Okay. Do they have a non-discrimination policy there?
Yes, definitely. They had a 11-page document on protecting trans rights.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow. I'm gonna try and look that up and link to it or something if I can.
Yes, if
Wow,
I
that's
can
amazing.
find it, I will send it to you.
Thank you.
Yes, it's very important. When I saw that, I was amazed.
Yeah.
And I was showing everyone, if you get into UPS, if you get a job at UPS, you are protected.
Yeah, and I gotta say too, when companies do this, you will attract employees who want to stay with you and be very loyal employees. You know, you're not just getting any kind of person. You're getting somebody who really wants a job and wants to work hard. So it benefits you as well to just be really robust in protecting, everybody's rights, all your workers, Yeah, totally. So UPS, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of uniform do you wear?
I work third shifts, so
Okay.
just my regular clothes.
Just whatever you want. Okay.
Yeah. And then
I was imagining like some of those guys wear the shorts and
yeah, the drivers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The right now we're coming into the holiday season.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the heavy season.
Yes.
Yes, right.
So I'll be working quite a bit of hours.
Yes. Are you guys also hiring seasonal employees?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if anyone's interested.
There you go. Yeah. So let's talk about a little bit more about your being a trans woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I came out in 2020 as transgender.
That's so new.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
I've come a long way.
And
I was very sheltering.
And within COVID as well.
Yes.
I've heard that that's a thing, actually, that a lot of people did a lot of introspection and had some space during COVID. And then a lot of people are coming out because of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That because you don't know how much, you could live and
Right.
die the next, just because life is so short.
Right. Right.
So you at least want to be able to live your life.
Yeah. Go for it. Go for it.
Exactly. But I came out in 2020 and
I'm just amazed by that, by the way, especially with the amount of work that you're doing for the community.
I know.
I'm just like,
I'm
wow.
surprised myself because
And you seem so joyous in it.
I'm
You're
so
just like,
introverted.
What can I do more? What can I do more of?
I know. I'm so introverted. And then when I came out, I became extroverted.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's happened with other trans women or trans men, but when I came out, it was like I came out of a shell
Yes.
or a cocoon
Yes.
and just started, meeting people and wanting to be there for everyone
Yeah.
and introducing myself to everybody.
And to develop your own ideas too.
Yes.
Which will help other people. I mean, you got a lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Before I kept to myself. I didn't do anything outside really. Outside of the home, I was more into nature and very isolating.
Mm-hmm. Do you still go out into nature though and
Yes.
hike? And
yes, I go hiking, but I actually created an LGBTQ hiking group. I know.
Yes, I know.
do
It's
a lot.
awesome. It's awesome.
So
Are you connected up with LGBT Outdoors? I think that's like a national organization.
No, I'm not
Okay.
connected with them, but I did a hiking group for Northwest Ohio.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I don't know if
we
that would
kept
be
running into bad weather.
I don't know if that would be useful to you to do that because that might attract more people to your group or
I could do
let
that.
them know that you're here, kind of thing, like as an affiliate.
I'm thinking about just taking a break for the wintertime because the trails and
Yeah.
paths are not walkable in the winter.
Do
so
people
much.
do like snowshoeing and that sort of thing?
We do. We have the skiing and such.
Like Nordic ski.
Yeah.
Yeah. So off camera, we were talking about more about self-care and that sort of thing because it's a very important topic for activists, especially ones who are doing a lot of work. And wow, I got to say it again, you're doing a lot of work. You have a lot of projects going, and the reason it's important, obviously, because we need you healthy and doing things and not getting ill from overextending yourself. But then also, it's actually a justice issue. So when one person is doing a lot, what happens is some people tend to just let them do it, and what happens is that person gets burnt out. Okay. So it's a justice issue for them because it's unfair to have some people burning out. But then also, if an activist is doing a lot, steps back or moves back, it allows other people to become more competent, to find their own ways to do things within an organization, let's say, or a type of activism. And it's more egalitarian, and it's very empowering. It brings the whole community up. Mm-hmm. The skill level and the competence and the confidence of the community. It brings it all up instead of it just focusing on particular people. Because particular people can burn out. They can make mistakes. They need a vacation. They need a vacation sometimes, Can't do everything. So that's why it's important. It's a justice issue in many ways. So you just mentioned something about one of the organizations that you're kind of forming, and that it's on a different model than a lot of organizations. Can you talk about that a bit?
Well, with the Trans Network for Safety and Advocacy, what I'm planning to do is just create where everyone has equal power in the group. It's not going to be a nonprofit. It's more of a social group. But it's for political purposes and helping each other, looking out for each other, making sure that local businesses are holding to the non-discrimination ordinance.
Right. So it sounds like even if somebody is really shy or even maybe socially isolated, you would be kind of gathering them up into community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Giving them a hands up.
Right.
And reaching down and pulling them up to where I'm at.
Right. Or just the level that they're comfortable at.
Exactly.
Yeah. And doing that is so important in a very safe space, right? Because some people have experienced tremendous trauma or like I just mentioned are isolated or, maybe they're more private, just personally private or they just don't realize that help is out there or that there's a welcoming community, Also, there's some people who live rurally who are kind of disconnected from community. Yeah. I love that you're going on a very egalitarian model.
I'm hoping that it catches on in other places. That's really important to me.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea to be able to do safety checks on people and making sure that they are healthy and calling each other and just, looking out for the community. Yeah. It's so important. I've been told there is no such thing as an LGBTQ community. Yeah. And I've seen that there is. I know that there is.
There's LGBT communities as well. It's not just, it's one community in a large sense, but it's also many. Right? Mm-hmm. So we have Bowling Green here, and then we have Toledo. Those are very different. I mean, we have kind of the same issues going on between those two places, or even these two people here. But big city versus a small one. Mm-hmm. More blue area versus a very red part of the state, right? Mm-hmm. So there is community. And it sounds like you're really punctuating that fact. We are community.
We are.
Yeah.
And I've been reaching out to so many people across the United States. Yeah. Over in other countries. Yeah. I've been reaching out to everyone. Yeah. And I'm just hoping that these ideas catch on.
Yeah, it's anarchist community, as it is, has a concept for that. It's called mutualism, mutual aid.
Okay.
Right. So it's very egalitarian. You do check up on people, and it's not like you're expecting anything from them.
Oh, no.
Right? It's not an exchange. It's not this neoliberal idea of you got to give me something to get something. No, it's just,
Just doing for others that you would want done for yourself.
right. It's just the work that needs to be done.
But not expecting
Right.
it to be done for you. Just doing, just giving.
Yeah, it's not an entitlement.
Exactly.
It's just being part of a community, right?
Yeah.
That loves each other.
A family.
That cares about each other.
It's like we're all chosen family to me.
Right,
Because I've lost my family.
I love it too that you're doing this and you're reaching out to people who might be more isolated, because they're often the people in LGBT communities that we just kind of skip over. I mean, literally, we just kind of skip over them. They're unseen. They are often dealing with extreme poverty or something else, violence and that sort of thing. So you're really, that's some pretty deep work. That's some deep work. Yeah. It's restorative.
Important.
It's restorative.
Yes.
I feel emotional about that.
Good.
Yeah, it's
I'm
giving
glad.
me chills. Like I'm like, woo. Yeah, powerful. Yeah. Gotta take a break for a second. Yeah, so let's talk more about you. What do you do for fun out in the world? Besides all this political organizing, do you have any, hobbies or,
I love the art museum. I love to go to the art museum in Toledo.
Okay.
I love
Is it like
music.
a modern art museum? What is it?
It's all kinds of
All
different
of
art.
it. Okay.
Yeah, they had a supernatural exhibit.
Okay.
Where it was just based on different supernatural aspects.
Sure.
I love that. They had stained glass. It's just so much there, and I just love going there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I like going to different cities. I've been to Ocean City, Maryland. I don't know if you've ever been to
No.
Maryland.
Oh, I've just passed through Maryland. Yeah.
That Ocean City is right on, right by the beach and the ocean, and they've got Assateague Bay where the wild horses run.
I have been there. Yes. Yeah, they run on the beaches.
Yes,
and they're
that's
just
right by Ocean City,
they're
and that's
feral.
I love going there.
Yeah, actually, some friends of mine tried to, and I tried to sleep on that beach, but they have a park patrol that came by in jeeps, and they were like, "You can't sleep here." But I mean, it was light out. It was morning, so we'd already slept there. Ha ha ha. We were waking up to the sun. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you like to travel. You like the ocean. You like those weirdo donkeys out there.
Yeah, I love spending time with my family.
Okay. Yeah.
When we can, we go and do things together. Just going to the park and enjoying we have a lot of rivers around here. We have Lake Erie.
Oh yeah.
So
right.
There's just so much that we like to do together as a family. But
Do you do some water sports, like getting out on boats or anything like that, or?
no. I'm not too good with going out on the water. But as far as fishing or
You like fishing? Yeah, I love fishing. I love it.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I
What do you
don't
like
get to go
fish?
very often.
What do you like to fish for?
We have perch.
Perch. Okay.
Yeah, perch and walleye.
Yeah.
So,
Are those good eating? I've never had them.
yes, they're really good.
Excellent.
Go to any of the restaurants around here, and they
Okay.
have them also.
Okay.
Wild.
Yeah, I'm a little bit poor right at the moment. any money I have just goes right into my gas bill because I'm just doing so much traveling, pretty much. Yeah, but I like to hear about these things though, because when I win my retirement lotto ticket, when that one comes in, I'm gonna definitely do that.
I'll be looking for you.
Yeah. So travel, fishing. What else? What else do you like to do?
I love music.
Okay.
I like to play guitar, but more for therapy purposes,
Sure.
where it helps me unwind.
Yeah. Do you sing along, or you just?
I just like to practice guitar. I play by ear. And just sit there and
What kind of genre? Like
just
folk or
just
rock?
relaxing. Just whatever feels good, whatever sounds good to my ear.
All right. Yeah, I like to sing. I like that's actually my favorite part of going to church is singing the hymns and listening to the old music, especially like Bach and
Yes.
yeah. Oh, so deep, so deep. And what else do I like to do? I like to travel, obviously. I love my dog. A funny little thing that I do with all these interviews is I ask people about their pets as the sound check. At some point, I might make a sound check video at some point of trans people talking about their pets. That might be funny. And anyway. Yeah, so besides a lot of this activism that you have, that you're planning, anything like in your private life that you're planning? What are your goals? What are your dreams?
Oh, let me think. As far as vacation this year, we're probably going to go back down to Hocking Hills, Ohio.
Oh,
it's a park actually.
Like a state park?
A state park, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And they have caves there that are actually Indian overhead caves, Native American caves.
Okay.
It's not like underground caves.
Okay.
But it's,
so it's
more
like an overhang.
more like overhang cliffs.
Sure.
And the Native Americans would use them for shelter.
Okay.
And I'm part Native American, so
Okay.
I feel very connected to that.
Oh, wonderful.
I love going there and seeing that.
Oh, great. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Just as kind of a, to round out this video, is there anything you'd like to say, some advice to other activists or trans people and that sort of thing?
Yes. I just want trans women to know that they need to not give up on themselves. I know that transition takes a very long time. A lot of us look at our results and we just don't feel like it's moving fast enough.
Patience. You have to cultivate it.
Patience, and things do happen.
Yeah.
They do happen. Just be patient with yourselves. As far as activism, just look out for each other.
Yeah.
This is really important. We look out for ourselves way too often. There's a lot of in our culture. There's everybody's out for themselves, but
it's very egoistic.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was raised differently, where I feel that I need to take care of others, and the way that I would want myself to be taken care of. I've been through a lot, and I just want to make sure that everyone doesn't give up on themselves.
Yeah. When you say that you were raised differently, what do you mean by that?
I raised myself.
Oh, okay.
I was neglected a lot when I was younger,
Sure.
and then when I came out as trans, I was just not. They didn't want anything to do with me. My
Sure.
mom, and so what I've done is I basically just went back, and knowing the kind of person I've always been, just a very caring person.
Yeah.
I've just been replacing a lot of the memories of what I went through, the abusive memories and everything, and just raising myself.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're raising up a community around you too, and around other people.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Wow. I gotta say that's kind of profound, actually. Yeah. So I think that's a good place to end. Yeah. Watch this over and listen to this woman's words. She's got something to say here. I have a feeling that I'm going to hear about you a lot in the future. Yes.
I'll still be working behind the scenes.
Yeah. You think so?
I'm hoping that I get other people to follow.
Yes.
With
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're
thing.
reaching out beyond and creating networks elsewhere, which is just amazing.
Yeah.
That's coming out of a small town in Ohio.
Just takes one person.
That's right. And then you grow a community, and then it's the community, right? Yep. Yep. So thank you very much
Thank you.
for meeting with me. I know that scheduling is a hassle on my end, but then also on other people's end, just the back and forth and whatnot. And I appreciate that you're taking all these risks and just really going for it and seeing what the needs are and then addressing them. That's really important.
It's important.
Activism doesn't have to be something fancy.
Oh no.
No, it can be just somebody's having a hard time, so you call them.
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody needs some food, so you get them some food. Whatever. It can be small things like that, but can have a profound effect in people's lives. I don't know about you, but there were small little incidents. I also had a difficult upbringing. There were small little incidents along the way, though, that really kept me connected, that I remember, that I keep with me. They're like little treasures, I feel like, and you out there can also be a treasure to other people. That's what I feel like. It doesn't take much either. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Gotta go. Gonna go drink a beer, probably. Gonna go take a nap.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you next time. I might be in Toledo. I might be in Akron again. I'm not sure where I'm going. Yeah. But I'll be bouncing around Ohio a little bit more, and then down to Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, Oklahoma.
I'll be watching you.
Yeah, hopefully. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
It's good to see you.
Awesome. I love meeting cool activists.
Thank you.
Yeah.